The Eagle Point City Council has approved a motion on the urban growth boundary expansion, but there is still a lot of work needed to be done before change can happen.
Plus, we're continuing our coverage of the investigation of the West Coast Game Park Safari abandoned. Police have now arrested the owner of the park.
And it's still going to be feeling pretty warm for us today, but we're tracking the potential for some isolated showers and storms to develop into the afternoon. I have more details for you coming up.
Live, local, late breaking. This is NewsWatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. The time is 6 o'clock on May 28th. Welcome to NewsWatch 12 this morning. I'm Carlos Murrieta.
And I'm Brinkley Hill, and we're going to check in with Storm Tracker 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress. Sarah, I know a lot of high school graduations are coming up, and it seems like it's going to be a beautiful week for it.
Absolutely stunning today, and I know in South Medford, you guys are graduating for you today, and it is shaping up to be a pretty warm by the time you're grabbing that diploma, and it'll be on the breezy side. But let's check in with what we're feeling like this morning. Now, it is a bit more mild across the region for us. Right now we're at 54 degrees in Gold Beach, dealing with a bit more clouds along the coast as well. But areas inland, we're at 58 for Medford, 47 into Klamath Falls and Montague. Temperatures are going to continue to soar for us today. Not quite as warm as yesterday, but it'll still be feeling pretty hot. And I mean by quite as warm, like maybe a few degrees cooler than where we were with those highs. We had a high of 92 yesterday in Medford, but we're at 89 for us again today. Even areas over east side, you'll be into the upper 80s and even into Northern California. Now, we are tracking the potential for some thunderstorms to develop today into the afternoon and maybe some isolated showers as well. Areas over east side along the Cascades and into Siskiyou County. But areas into the Rogue Valley, that threat will be less of there, and we'll see those temperatures warm up again as we're into our Friday, but a little bit cooler for your Thursday. So I have more details on what you can expect working through the rest of today and the rest of the week coming up in your next forecast.
In our top story this morning, after holding a public hearing last night, the Eagle Point City Council has passed a motion on a major expansion of the city's urban growth boundary. But even though that motion has passed, there is still a long road to go with this expansion project. After an hour of public feedback, those in favor say this not only provides diversity of housing, but having this growth is good for the city. But those not in favor say this would increase traffic when traffic is already a problem, and this project would just worsen that. As well as residents don't want to change the identity of Eagle Point. Councilor Lena Beach was the only one to oppose this motion, worrying about impacts on roads, water, crime, and policing, while most other councilors say that this growth is needed.
You know, it's hard. Growth is hard. Change is hard. You have to sacrifice many things in order to grow. And if we don't grow, we're dying as a community, unfortunately. I won't name communities, but there's some very close to our area that are not growing, and you can definitely see that when you drive through them.
City leaders say the expansion is part of a one-time opportunity from the State Senate Bill 1537 to address Oregon's housing crisis. Fast-tracking certain projects, Eagle Point was granted over 1,200 acres of reserved land more than a decade ago. None of that land has been used until now. And there has been a number of things that needs to happen before that development can begin. The landowner must submit a planning application requesting urban growth expansion and a development application. And then Eagle Point must receive approval from the Land Conservation and Development Commission from the state. And this is all a 3 to 6 months process, but we'll continue to track this story as more information becomes available.
Fire officials say Southern Oregon is well positioned heading into fire season. Staffing levels are about the same as last year. Now, Oregon Department of Forestry, the U.S. Forest Service, and BLM say they're coordinating closely to respond quickly to any fires. Now, 22 acres have already burned in 2025, but ODF has been able to respond quickly and keep those fires small. The National Weather Service warning that hot and dry weather could lead to tough summer.
I do appreciate the science branch and the informed discussions that we have with those folks, but I really try and make it not be a distraction. Being flexible and able to pivot with different funding streams and mechanisms is really what the success rate is.
Senator Wyden says that's just one sign federal agencies are stretched thin. He's pushing for more resources, including expanded wildfire mitigation efforts and youth fire crews. Leaders say community awareness and preventing human-caused fires will also play a key role in keeping the region safe.
Training is continuing this morning at the Rogue Valley International Medford Airport, and firefighters and first responders are running through these simulated emergency scenarios. Now, the 3-day drill includes live fire, heavy smoke, and rescue operations, all designed to test how quickly crews can respond if disaster does strike. Now, the video you're seeing is from training yesterday, and this kind of training happens every 3 years. The last time it was held at MFR was in 2022.
Once jet fuel gets going, burns at 1700 degrees, where aircraft fuselages are made of aluminum that melt at 1200. That's why the ARF truck has to be on scene of the call within 90 seconds.
The training is required annually by the FAA for all airports with aircraft rescue and firefighting services. Instructors say realistic practice helps crews sharpen skills and stay ready because in a real emergency, every second matters.
As it gets warmer outside, police are reminding you to never leave your pets in a parked vehicle. This week alone, Jacksonville police have responded to 2 separate calls about dogs left in hot cars. Even with the windows cracked, the inside of a car can reach dangerous temperatures within minutes. And if you're running errands, it's best to keep your pets safe at home. And if you do come across an animal locked in a potentially dangerous car, call 911.
And while it might feel warm outside, rivers remain cold, swift, and dangerous. Rural Metro Fire's water rescue team says the Rogue River can be especially hazardous. Whether you're rafting, swimming, fishing, or even hiking, it's important to know the risk around the water and how to keep yourself safe.
As you keep river safety in mind, make sure that you're wearing a life jacket, whether you're in the water or on a raft. And you need to keep an eye on all children and make sure they're also wearing life jackets. Make sure to not overestimate your swimming skills regardless of your experience, and never go swimming alone. And make sure to know how first aid and how to get help in an emergency situation.
Today, Danny Schofield has a pre-trial conference scheduled for her criminal trial. The former Asante nurse accused of diverting patients' fentanyl hasn't been in court since June of last year. Schofield has pled not guilty for 44 counts of assault in the criminal trial. She is currently out on a $4 million bail. There are also 9 civil cases against Schofield that will not be brought against her until the criminal case has been resolved.
Continuing our coverage of the investigation at the West Coast Game Park Safari in Bandon, we're now learning that illegal drugs, guns, and more than $1 million was found. The South Coast Interagency Narcotics team found 80 grams of meth at the park during this initial investigation. Now, an additional search warrant was executed targeting controlled substance crimes. The search ended up finding 44 guns, 8 grams of cocaine, and roughly $1.6 million in cash, checks, bonds, and certificates.
The Bandon Police Department made an arrest in connection to that investigation. 52-year-old Brian Teeney is in the Coos County Jail of charges of meth possession, manufacturing, and attempted distribution. This investigation remains ongoing this morning. And ticket scams are continuing to increase over the years, but scammers are getting smarter than ever before. The Oregon Cabaret Theater is facing a wave of online scams as scammers buy Google-sponsored links, making their fake website appear first in search results for the theater. From there, they steal data from real sites and make their version look completely legitimate.
Technology has become available for these folks to scrape our website for all the data in terms of availability, so they're able to mirror exactly what we're selling. They're collecting money from you, and then they are buying the tickets from us at a cheaper price and pocketing the difference.
Cabaret Theater says to be aware of these scams, and you're purchasing tickets and the site seems suspicious, call the theater itself. They can help make sure that you're buying the tickets from the original website or help get some through the box office. The prison system is often called a revolving door, but one local organization is fighting to keep using nature to keep people out of the system. Freedom Farms is a nonprofit based in Jackson County, and they help formerly incarcerated individuals transition back into society. At the farm, these people learn how to grow, harvest, and sell produce. Participants like Lindsay McNabb are proof of the program's impact. As of just 6 months ago, McNabb was behind bars, but now she's spending her days tending to bok choy, turnips, and asparagus. McNabb says it's helping her find a new sense of purpose.
I do struggle on a daily basis with, oh my gosh, I lost 16 months. Like, what do I need to do to make up for that? And there isn't anything really I can do. Working in a setting like this and this type of work in general forces you and teaches you to be more present.
The program has been running for 3 years now, helping about 20 former inmates a year, as well as aiding youth in the justice system. But Freedom Farms is doing more than growing vegetables. They're cultivating dignity, healing, and hope.
An update this morning on the wolves we've been tracking throughout our region. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife has now confirmed 3 new packs in California. CDFW has been tracking many of these wolves since 2024, but only recently confirmed the establishment of their own packs. This brings the number of recognized wolf packs in California to a total of 10. A closer look at these 3 packs can be found on our website with a link to California's wolf tracking system.
And to take a look at the next couple of days, today we are possibly going to be seeing some isolated showers and storms areas over east side and into Siskiyou County. And then we have another front moving through tonight that is going to bring the possibility for showers late tonight into tomorrow morning along the coast. But we are drying out as we're working our way into the weekend. And it's going to be pretty warm for us as we're working into our Friday and into our Saturday. But beyond that, we are expecting cooler weather to work its way in for next week. And while we're seeing very above average temperatures ending out our week, it's going to be pretty cool starting off next. So I have more details on your forecast in the future coming up in about 7 minutes.